Ooh, it is another win in a row, yo. Oh, that game was tough. That game was tough, yo. Oh man, I just can't tell you how happy I am. But let's get into it, yo. If you guys are just tuning in, just know that this is Blue is Our City, Manchester City fan channel, and West Ham, Manchester City versus West Ham. We're gonna get into that review. 2-1 win. Oh my God, we needed this win. It was an ugly game, in my opinion. It wasn't the best games. Pardon me, real quick. Make sure. Let me turn that TV off to make sure, stop messing up the live stream. But oh my God, what a phenomenal type of win. It was the way we won this game that was difficult, in my opinion. 20 wins in a row in all across all competitions. But let's focus on the Premier League. I think that they said that that was 14 wins in a row in the Premier League. And this match right here put us to the test, in my opinion. Don't act like it was an easy win. If you guys are out there and people are just tuning in to see 2-1 Manchester City win, they keep winning and maybe you're disinterested. This was not an easy win. And even when you went to the end of the game, West Ham had a chance to win the game at the end. So phenomenal win here for City. So let's kind of get into the match right now. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you just are new to the channel, just know Blue is Our City, Manchester City fan channel. Feel free to hit that like button. Just helps other people find the channel no matter where they are. So thank you guys so much. But let's get into the starting lineups, man. So let me kind of do this. Bear with me. Let me move this banner here. And then let's go right here to the starting lineups. And man, when you look at these starting lineups, look at that. I want to see one name, and it was one. You see the picture of him right there, Mr. Sergio Aguero. It was good to see Sergio back in there started. Was not an easy game for Sergio, but we had Sergio up front starting. I really thought that he was going to come on at some point in this game, but to see him start was just unbelievable. We had Mahrez, and I knew Torres needed to start. So I'm going to kind of look at the starting lineup and kind of figure out who I thought would play. I knew we would see Diaz and Stones and Walker. Of course, Ederson's there. You never count Ederson because Ederson's always playing. I figured it would be Zinchenko or it would be Mendy. My brother Mendy, we're going to talk about that at another point. But, man, it looks like Mendy's just might be in the doghouse for real. But I figured Ferner was starting this game. It was good to see, Ferner play in this game for the most part. And we saw that Rodri came on to support, Ferner. And as Pep took off Gundogan and KDB playing. Quick stat for you guys. Bet you guys didn't know this. So this was the first time that Kevin De Bruyne and Sergio Aguero played together in a match. And I think well over a year. And even when the first half, when you're watching this game, it kind of looked that way. It just looked like they were out of sync, So it was really good to see Sergio up front starting. It was good to see, Kevin getting the chance to play mixed in with Gundogan. So, that was really good. Another point about this game, let's look at West Ham starting lineup. So, Lingard's been in form for them. I think he's had 3 goals in 4 Premier League games now, or 4 matches, 3 goals for them. Souček's just been flying. Declan Rice, he's just a solid performer, so young with the leadership there. And then Mr. Antonio, and we'll visit him in a second. But that was West Ham starting lineup. So I want to go through some talking points in the game, before we get into the goals. Oh, by the way, happy birthday weekend, Mr. Torres. Torres, it was good to see you playing in this game. It was not an easy game for Torres, but it was happy birthday weekend to Mr. Torres. So let me say that before we really get into the game. So in my takeaways from the game, in the first 15 minutes, I don't know what the hell we were watching. Not like it was bad from Manchester City standpoint. It just looked like things were just not flowing offensively. Kevin was getting in some good positions, but he just looked to be a little bit rusty. Him and Torres were trying to link up together, but you could see that fluidity was not right there. And I want to talk about that for a second, because I think that we have to, as Manchester City fans, or if you watch City or you want to watch a little bit of Manchester City, one thing you'll notice is that this system that we play is extremely fluid. So I think Sergio in this game had a tough time. That's why I was shocked to see Pep actually start Sergio Aguero. I thought he would bring on Sergio Aguero later points in this game. And then also in this game, you could see why we need to appreciate Gabriel Jesus, even if he's not scoring, because as a striker, you have got to see how difficult this system is. So that's the reason why in that first 15 minutes, that first 20 minutes, it was like Aguero was really stagnant in his positioning as being like that striker. You don't see him dropping it into left wing to right wing. That's got to be so difficult for him. And I think that that's the reason why we were not able to really capitalize on those spaces. So that's not really a fault to Aguero. It's just that Aguero is trying to find his rhythm into the team. So is Kevin at this point. So it was good to see them both out there. But in that first 15 minutes, I thought we looked a little sloppy offensively. Now, there were times where Kevin was getting in some brilliant spaces, linking up with Torres, but overall, as a collective, in my opinion, I think we looked a little sloppy in that first 15 minutes. But I even see points to where Sergio Aguero had to drop so far back in defense. And I was like, man, look at Sergio. Sergio almost looked like he was playing like a CDM and dropping back damn near to, in the box at one point that I looked up. So, and then here's another thing that I noticed in the game. Let me know if you guys saw this. In my opinion, we didn't have any shots from what I remember. I tried to do a live stream. It was my first ever live stream I tried to do. It didn't go the way I wanted it to because I always said I salute anybody who does live streams because it's got to be so difficult to do a live stream and able to watch the game and critique the game and engage with the community. But I want to thank the people who watched it and chimed in with the community. That was great. It was my first ever live one, but thank you guys so much for that. But as I was watching it, I said to myself, you know what? Like, we didn't have any shots. I couldn't remember a shot in the first 25 minutes. And that might have been one of the longest stretches that we were playing like that and, not really finding that space. But what happens next? Oh my God. Ruben Diaz, my man, Ruben Diaz. But this play really started with Kevin De Bruyne. So to kind of rewind and take you guys back in case you guys didn't see it, Kevin De Bruyne ends up with the ball. He's on the right-hand side of the pitch, usually where you would find Mahrez. So he's right there as he gets the ball, brings it down, decides to drive in a little bit just to create the space. But we have everybody up on the line, basically, whips in a ball with his left foot. And at the time, I knew it was gravy. And I'll tell you why I knew it was gravy, because this cross was so sensational. Not only for him to be able, we've seen him do this with his right foot, but he almost looked like, I'm tired of this. And just got the ball on his left foot, drove in, took one step, bang, sweet left foot cross in the box. And when you're watching the game live, I thought John was about to get it. But then you see Ruben Diaz just head it right there. And, Mr. Randolph, no chance. Fabianski was not available in this game. So, I think Randolph touched the ball, but he had no shot, basically. So it just goes to show you where we weren't even flowing at our best. And in parts, Kevin looked a little frustrated. He definitely looked a little frustrated. Now, keep in mind, this is early on in the game, but Kevin's trying to get his motor going. And we haven't really seen Kevin step up and get goals, but the way he put this left foot cross in there, it just goes to show that even when Kevin's not at his best sometimes, or he's just working himself up to full fitness, the man possesses certain qualities that a lot of other people just don't have. Maybe Pogba could do something like that, but it's just like that ability to do it and take those risks. That's what makes Kevin sensational. And for my man Ruben Diaz to get on the end of that and just put it in there, fabulous goal in the 30th minute, 1-0 Manchester City. And I love that moment. And then as I go back and I want to touch upon something, after we scored the goal, as I'm watching the game, in my opinion, West Ham looked a little deflated. And I said to myself, from the 30th minute to around the 36th minute mark of the game, they looked a little deflated. And I'm watching them, and I even wrote down my notes. So that's why you might see me looking over here, because I want to make sure I touch upon this. I thought that they looked deflated. I thought that they looked slow. They looked a little lethargic, just like how your head would be down after, you could see the goal. And all of a sudden, they just turned magic out of nowhere. And the way that they got their goal, I have to credit West Ham in this, is that they don't play what I would call pretty football the way we do, but the way that they were moving and getting into spaces, with Antonio, Lingard, Declan Rice creating chances, Souček going forward. I mean, they were finels. They were just moving the ball, and all of a sudden, Jesse Lingard gets the ball, whips it in. I thought Jesse Lingard was about to score, but Antonio's just right there, man on the spot for them, and Antonio scores right there in the 43rd minute, I believe. And I said to myself, look at this. Just in this moment when you thought that their heads was down, They just find themselves and they were moving that ball. And then once they moved the ball, the next thing you know, Antonio scored for them. And I'm saying to myself, this is good. And I'm gonna tell you why it's good in my opinion. Yes, because everybody wants to talk about how easy it is for Manchester City. As a Manchester City fan, I want to see my team get tested, especially at this point of the year, because it might help us in other competitions. I'm not going to allude to that, but we need to be maintained strong and you need to be tested. Every game can't be a 3-0. Every game can't be a 4-1 because you want to see your team get tested. You want to see how your team responds after they scored, then they concede, and then next thing you know, we're going into halftime 1-1 with a team we previously played that gave us a good match. So I thought it was really good to see the team, kind of manifest and mold itself in the second half as we touch upon that. But for me personally, I love the fact that it was not an easy game because everything has been talking about how easy it is. And this was not an easy game. So Antonio, shout out to him for that. Now, as we go into the second half starts and he doesn't switch things. I thought he would have took Aguero off and brought on Gabriel Jesus as soon as the second half started. But we obviously did not see that. But later on, Gabriel Jesus comes into this game. And I want to give Aguero credit for staying on the pitch for the first 60 minutes. But one thing you saw, it was definitely difficult for Aguero to really integrate himself in this team. And I want to touch upon that real quick because I know there's a lot of chat out there about Manchester City going out there and trying to get Haaland and, some elite level striker. We might have to pump the brakes on that idea. And I've previously made a video talking about this. There's going to be no chance of us with this style of football going out there to go get a Haaland because in the system that we're currently playing, the way this system is currently constructed, there is no way. If you're a striker, it is too difficult for you to have to drop back, pick up the ball, link up play, that you might find yourself on the right side. You might find yourself on the left-hand side. And that's what I think was really difficult for Aguero. So could you even imagine Haaland now as a Manchester City fan? Of course, I would love to see Haaland in this team. But it's too hard to ask a Haaland. Imagine if you seen Haaland playing left back one time or floating out to the right wing and then have to go on the left wing because how difficult it is in this type of position. Not only as a striker, you have to be up front in the number 9, drop back to link up the ball. But so now you're not only running the length of the pitch, but you have to run the width of the pitch in this particular system. That is very difficult. And I think that other City fans and a lot of other fans need to understand that this system is not easy. It is not kind to strikers at all. So I think that that's one thing we have to look for going forward. But I think Sergio did a good job. And as Manchester City fans, maybe it wasn't the best, but we know he's just getting integrated or reintegrated into this team. So it's going to take time for him. But I was loving to see him there. I think Torres really couldn't find himself in this particular game as well. I think he was just struggling to really get involved. Maybe because of the way Manchester City play, in my opinion, is that we often tend to have somebody like Riyad Mahrez, who is a lefty playing on the right side. The only way we're going to get a lefty playing on the left side, unfortunately, with this team is that it has to be Phil Foden. And that's probably where Torres found the struggle in this game is that once he gets the ball on the left-hand side, he has to cut so far in, and then Zinchenko's in there, Kevin's in there. So it's really hard to see that. And then I think that that's the reason why we saw Phil Foden come on later in the match, in my opinion. But let's get to another moment. I mean, come on, bro. We're watching this match, and right around I think it was the 68th minute. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong on that, but right around the 68th minute of the game where you're wanting Manchester City to kind of get in this game, because it looked a little lethargic. You see that we were trying to press, we were trying to create things, but it just wasn't happening because of the way West Ham sat up. I think David Moyes had his team sit up phenomenally as far as that back line and kind of protect that. They kind of took a lot of our spaces away. But that's how resilient this team is. Because often if you watch my channel, I talk about moments when we're tested. How do we respond? And that's character, because in this particular moment in this game, the ball gets cleared. We have the ball in the box. It gets cleared. We basically get the ball with De Bruyne, and then it ends up with Zinchenko. Zinchenko cuts it back over to Riyad Mahrez. Riyad Mahrez has it on the right side. He is running at the defense, mad step overs, and the defender kind of lets him get to the inside of his foot. He's left footer, but his with the step over action, he was just running directly at him, and that's that directness that I need from Riyad Mahrez. But as he's doing the step overs, gets the ball on the left foot, passes it right there to John Stones. John Stones money into the back of the net. Randolph, absolutely no chance. And Mahrez definitely made this play, but John scores it. So what's the moral of the story here? Both goals came from our center backs in this particular game. So not only is that fantastic, but what it does show you is that we find a way to win as Manchester City. And, I watched a little bit I'm watching over here in the United States, and I'm watching on NBC, and you can hear Tim Howard talk about that. You can hear Hickenbottom talk about that. Is that basically, even when Manchester City get things taken away from them, they still find a way to win. And I thought, absolutely, we looked better when Gabriel Jesus came on for Aguero, because you saw Gabriel Jesus in his non-position, but floating over there with Mahrez. Mahrez starts to kind of creep into the middle of the pitch. He brings Foden on. So the fluidity looked a little bit better, but wasn't always the prettiest, but it definitely looked a little bit better. So shout out to Pep for making that change. And, we just managed to get the goal no matter what the opposition throws at us. And you're talking about 14 wins in a row. Yes. I mean, I'm sitting there watching the live stream and I'm like, oh man, this game is going to be tough. It's going to be a nail biter, and then pop up with that little bit of magic when we needed it to. So it was not an easy win at all. And then as we go into the game too, there's another part in the game I need to talk about real quick, is that in the 93rd minute of this match, all of a sudden, in the 93rd minute of this match, West Ham could have scored. They really could have scored. Lingard's driving at us at the defense, puts in a nice cross to Diab. Diab just doesn't get the header on target. But West Ham had really a lot of chances in this game. I can remember that chance they had in the game. They also had another chance early in the game where Lingard passes the ball all of a sudden, and Antonio gets the ball and he just shoots it right past Edison. So point being is that this game was really close. For a 2-1 win, it could have easily been 2-2. But at the end of the day, that's what that resiliency factor is about. And I'm loving the fact Manchester City just keep trying to find a way to win. So that's what we do over here at Manchester City. So now we're going to keep rolling. The momentum was there, but it was not an easy game by the imagination. I think Pep, he used the substitutes well. We didn't see Raheem Sterling in this match. And I really think that at the end of the day, we rested some players. Rodri came on for a little bit there. So we were able to rotate the squad. I think he made 7 changes all in all, but still found a way to win, baby. So at the end of the day, that's all I care about. So I know we got United coming up. We got a few teams coming up, but at the end of the day, if we can keep the win streak going, that's all that's important, and keep the good form. Everybody's talking about, oh my God, are they going to now win out all of their games? I don't think it's about that. But as Manchester City fan, as Manchester City, as an organization, as a club, and then the way Pep is, it's one game at a time. And that's all we have to do here at Manchester City. So I just wanted to make this quick video. It's early here in the morning in New York and over here in America. Let me know where you guys are watching from. But it's so early in the morning. I wanted to bring you guys this quick video just to show you the smile and the freckles of how happy I am with Manchester City picking up another win in the Premier League game. I'm going to be seeing you guys again. I think I'm going to make another video a little bit later on today. I need to talk about the Champions League. I alluded to a lot of it in this video. Is who plays? Who plays? We have so many forward players. Who's going to start for us as far as our striking positions? So I'm making another video on that, because I alluded to the fact that our strikers have to be extra fluid in this system. So I want to figure out how we're going to, perform and how we might set up in the Champions League. And that's something I have to talk about. So don't be shocked if you guys see another video from me related to the Champions League. But this is another good win for City in the Premier League. On and on in the right direction. Let's go City. See you guys again next time. Blue is our city.